Striking teachers in British Columbia. What will it take to get a deal and get 500,000 students back in school? Also, the informal schools popping up during the strike. I'm Affan Chowdhry. Welcome to Globe Now. Students are back in classrooms, but not in British Columbia. Nearly 500,000 students in the public school system are still out of school. It's because of a long-running dispute between the government and teachers. So what will it take to end the strike? Well, Justine Hunter is the Globe's BC politics reporter, and she joins us now from Victoria. Hi, Justine.
Good morning.
Give us a sense of how parents are coping.
The government started offering this month a $40 per day subsidy to help the younger kids, but parents are still scrambling to find daycare, some kind of camp, tutoring services to help make up for lost academics. And it's particularly hard if you have a child with special needs or if you're a low-income family and you normally count on those extra supports that you would be getting in the school.
Remind us, what is at the heart of this dispute?
Well, part of it is what you would expect in labor negotiations, which is wages and benefits. And the mediator involved in this says the two sides are too far apart on those issues to even get around a mediation. But the underlying tension here is this court case over class size and composition, and that's the number of kids in each classroom and the number of kids with special needs in each classroom. Back in 2001, the teachers had language in their contract that set hard limits on the number of kids in each classroom and the number of kids with special needs. The government really wanted that language out, and in 2002, they stripped the contract of those words in legislation. Ever since then, they've been fighting in the courts over that issue of class size and composition. It's going to be heading back to court in October, could be years before it's settled, and neither side wants to give this up. So it's hard to get to a contract negotiation when you're still fighting in court over such an important issue.
What is the mood among teachers right now?
Twofold, I would say. A lot of anger at the government because the government has dug in over this issue of stripping the contracts and they don't want to give that up. But also there's a lot of financial stress on teachers. Because the union has spent so much of its money on court cases, they had no money left in the strike fund. So since mid-June, the teachers have been out without a paycheck and without strike pay. At the very least, $6,000 or more that they've lost in pay, and there's no end in sight. So that's a real financial grind.
Justine, one of the options that the BC government is looking at is back-to-work legislation. What would be the political costs of taking that route?
Well, the government has tried to avoid that because they had made a commitment to try and win labor peace in BC schools. The Premier, Christy Clark, had said she wanted a 10-year deal with teachers, and they're nowhere near that.
I mean, let's talk about the public mood, because ultimately, as the parents of these children, a lot of families affected, as you mentioned. I mean, what is the public mood right now?
Well, there's always a split because the teachers do have a lot of support from parents, and we're seeing a lot of that. We see parents out of these rallies supporting the teachers. But I think there's also a lot of frustration that kids are not in class, and people would like to see a settlement. Now, neither side has really made much of a move. We've had essentially, an impasse in negotiations. There's no talks going on. The government is saying they want to go back into negotiations, but only on the terms that they've offered to everybody else. So I think people are going to be increasingly frustrated as this grinds on.
Okay, thank you so much, Justine. For the latest on the BC teacher strike, check out our live blog. There's a story about BC teachers voting for binding arbitration, and there'll be more updates as pressure grows on both sides. Staying with the teacher strike, a lot of parents are scrambling, as Justine was saying. Kids are not in school. Childcare is an issue. And then there's the challenge of how to keep up their math and reading skills. Well, we found a school in Langley, British Columbia. No desks and no chairs, but lots of horses and learning.
That's where the term comes from. This is how you used to measure horses. Yeah, is that not cool? When I heard this teacher strike was going to continue on into the school year, I really felt this was an opportunity for me to help children learn more about horses and as well bring them back into a slight academic setting. And often for me, children are very interested in horses, not so interested in going to school. We lose a lot of children because they don't get a chance to do practical hands-on things in the school system. And when I teach horseback riding, I spend a lot of time doing hands-on things, and now this was an opportunity for me to incorporate learning and mathematics and the practical care of horses. The official name is Teacher Strike Horse School. The children come in the morning, we do chores, they come in and help feed and turn out all the little animals. After that, they spend at least 2 hours doing schoolwork. We're doing mathematics related to weighing and measuring horse food, mathematics related to the foot and shoeing. They're carrying, they're actually physically feeling what it is, what these mathematical results mean. Kids are going home excited and tired, which I think from a parent's point of view, perfect. I think that what I see in the children is what matters to me, and I see children struggling with basic skills, and that is my biggest concern. No matter whether it's a strike or not, children aren't learning basic skills.
That's it for today's show. If you've got a moment, hop onto Twitter. If you're a parent, how are you coping during the teacher strike? Also, what can both sides in BC learn from similar disputes in your province? Tweet us at Globe Now. I'm Affan Chowdhry. Thanks for watching.